Yeah. So, and you, Aditi?
Me, I think I was trying to figure how these things work in the process.
Right.
Because after my first film, I honestly didn't have an idea of how like the market works or how you should be visible or either. I was just looking to do characters, and for some reason I was getting very similar serious characters. Yeah, serious characters. Even now I still get, but now I'm trying to figure out what I can do. I did here and there, chinna rola irundhalum inge anga, if there is some change in the story, if the character brings some change, I did. Maybe 3 happened to be on OTT and 2 during the COVID. So, but yeah, it's not that I don't want to do films. I want to do a lot of films. It's just taking its own time.
Journey is taking its time.
Yeah, it's taking time, and it's okay because during that time I'm also going and doing other workshops. I'm attending, trying to upskill a little bit. But I haven't really gotten an answer as to why I'm not doing. Maybe there is something that I need to figure out. I'm still figuring out.
Right, yeah. Right. நீங்க வந்து when you start out with Kalavani and Vagai Sudava, அது ரெண்டும் பேக் டு பேக் வருது. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து you have a journey from the eyes of a director. ஒரு டைரக்டரோட பார்வையில இருந்து what do you think is happening with Tamil cinema today?
இன்னைக்கு என்னன்னா, இன்னைக்கு வர டெக்னாலஜியாக ரொம்ப பெருசாக, அதாவது ஒரு டெக்னாலஜி ரொம்ப நல்லா வளர்ந்துருக்க மாதிரியான ஒரு இது இருக்குது. அதே மாதிரி ஸ்கிரிப்ட் அவங்க இன்றைக்கி வர்றவங்க யூத்துக்கிட்ட வர்றது புது கண்டென்ட்டோட வர்றாங்க. அதெல்லாம் ஒரு உண்மையில் பிரமிப்பாக இருக்குது. அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் சொல்கிறதுக்கு ஒன்றும் இல்லை, நம்ம தான் கற்றுக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு விஷயந்தான் இன்னைய சினிமாவில் இருக்குது. எனக்கு சொல்லணும்னா, இன்றைக்கி வர்ற உங்கள்கிட்ட ஒரு புத்தக வாசிப்பு இந்த மாதிரியான விஷயங்களை தவிர அது கொஞ்சம் கம்மியாக இருக்குது. நிறைய படங்கள் பார்த்து படங்கள் பண்ணுற மெத்தட் இருந்தாலும் இன்னும் இருக்கிற சொசைட்டி ஒரு எப்படி சொல்கிறது, புது கண்டென்ட், ஒரு ஹீரோ வில்லன் இந்த கண்டென்ட்டெல்லாம் உடஞ்சி போன மாதிரியான ஒரு சூழல் வருது. ஒரு 1-to-1 கதையெல்லாம் மாறி போய் அந்த கண்டென்ட்டுக்குள்ளேயே பண்ணுற நிறைய படங்கள் இன்றைக்கி பெரிய சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக போகிற மாதிரி வர்றதுங்கிறது ரொம்ப ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்குது.
ஸோ நீங்கள் இப்போது படமும் பண்ணுறதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணுறீங்களா, இல்லை யூ ஆர் ஹாப்பி வித் திஸ் ஓடிடி மீடியம்?
இல்லை, படம் அடுத்து இப்போ இந்த படம் முடிஞ்சோடனே அடுத்த படம் தான் பண்ணுறேன். அதுக்கு பிறகு மீண்டும் ஒரு வெப் சீரிஸ்க்கு கதை எழுதிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஆமாம், இப்போ இந்த வெப் சீரிஸ் முடிஞ்ச உடனே அடுத்து நான் பண்ணுறது படம் தான் பண்ணுறேன்.
So do you see that like the web, this OTT infrastructure has actually empowered a lot of directors, like as in it's made it possible for people to tell இந்த மாதிரியும் கதை சொல்லலாம், அந்த மாதிரியும் கதை சொல்லலாம், அந்த மாதிரி டிஃப்ரெண்ட்
it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I completely believe that. And see, lot of technicians nu பாத்தீங்கன்னா கூட, like I mean writers plus like இப்போ எங்க இதுல எக்ஸாமோட க்ரூலயே வந்துட்டு DOP is first time. நீங்க அந்த ட்ரெய்லர் பாத்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். So he used to be with PS Vinod. So we know him from long. So வந்துட்டு art director is new. So நிறைய new techniciansக்கும் we are actually giving like நல்ல, it is like a good opening for them. Like வந்துட்டு அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் மவுண்ட் பண்றதுல there is finesse in the project. So like இல்லனா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஏதோ ஒரு சின்ன படத்துல ஆரம்பிச்சு அது விசிபிலிட்டி வருது. So அதுல வந்துட்டு in terms of writers, technicians and actors, and even in terms of women leading stories, like women centric stories, all those things actually it's a good space.
Okay.
So the thing is, and it's not like it is cutting off that one is eating into that or one is eating into this. Both can exist, peacefully coexist.
If you see theatrical women-led stories ரொம்பவே கம்மியாயிடுச்சு. It's becoming very very rare for you to find a woman-led story on any of the markets. அது ஹிந்தியா இருக்கட்டும், தெலுங்கா இருக்கட்டும், தமிழா இருக்கட்டும். But it is still very much alive in the OTT space. So, in fact, a lot of the scripts which come to us is because it needs a female protagonist to run the story. Now, most of the times what happens is, அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கதை எழுதிட்டு, if this OTT space was not there, it would have gotten converted to a male protagonist. And you know of cases which happened even in recent times where they struggled to mount it as one of the woman-led stories to becoming a proper man-led story, and then it'll completely change the texture of it.
Right.
So this is a space which actually opened up that kind of storytelling for us. Suralla what Nandini, Aishwarya Rajesh's character does, she is with agency. She pushes the story forward. So andamari we are looking at stories where the women characters are not playing only second fiddle. They actually push the story forward marinala. it gets difficult to do it in a feature film where you have only 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And if you have to have a male lead and you have to have a female lead who's romancing the male lead, and then give a complete arc to the female lead and push it so that she actually changes the story, it becomes more and more difficult for it to fly, unless it's a love story or a relationship story. If it has to be an investigative drama, it becomes difficult. So in that way, I think these two spaces kind of complement each other.
Okay.
Long form and OTT Marina. If you ask me, are OTT stories doing randomly different stuff? Is it radical? Is it groundbreaking? No. Because I think this is the time when OTT has to kind of establish itself so that it can reach into everybody's home, Marina. We were thinking that period of great experimentation will usually be when they enter, when a platform enters. Then you realize that that experimentation is not making too much money. And then you start doing mainstream, till there's an exhaustion about mainstream. And then like how Netflix had an adolescence, a show like that comes which challenges the narrative. Now, in India, we are in that mainstream phase of OTT storytelling. This will go on for at least another couple of years where you're going to tell stories which feel like this is cinema. This can work in cinema also, but structurally it won't. But there'll come a period very quickly within the next 2 years where suddenly there'll be like a bunch of shows which are very, very radical. Adu varum. Adukku vandu we have to sustain the medium, let it grow, let it reach that place where you have these bunch of people coming and seeing the mainstream shows, but you have now built a very strong subsect of that audience who's going to lap up an radically different show. So I think that process, it happened with the networks in the US, and then when they entered into Europe, that same thing happened. I think in the US especially now, it is going back to, after the radical phase, the mainstream phase, radical phase, it's again going back to mainstream phase. So this is that pendulum which will keep happening, and then you will have both of these existing. India la idu innu fulla varla, where you have very, very challenging stories which are meant for a niche audience, and the networks are willing to put a lot of money into it, Mariana.